Alrighty, hello again, this is Trace Majestus, and we're back in Elite Dangerous Odyssey, back to refilling our engineering materials so that we can continue engineering the fleet. So let's get in game and get things rolling. Alrighty, hello Tacido, welcome back. Alright. I think we finished trading materials around last night. Got those two. Getting close on those two. All right. Galaxy map.
Here's the galaxy map, Commander.
Wonder if it's going to be 2 or 3 runs to fill these guys. Maybe more. We don't have to do this. Ah! Retract landing gear.
Landing gear retracted.
Do do do. Do 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 do. Do 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 do.
Frameshift drive charging.
You have cleared the no-fire zone. Flight control out.
Frameshift drive charging.
Hello, Bazar. Welcome to the channel. If I wanted to sound like an executive, I'd say good morning, good evening, and good afternoon. Bazar or Bazer?
Fuel scooping.
Probably Bazar.
Fuel scooping complete.
Ah. So it's Baz R.
Fuel scooping. Fuel scooping complete.
Well, glad to have you along. And hello, James. Welcome back. Hello, Mr. Mad Hatter. Welcome back. And hello, Nemesis. Welcome back. Yeah, well, that's not good. Got to get that computer fixed.
Orbital flight engaged. Wait, did I miss somebody? Oh, Jean-Marc. Welcome back. I missed you when you joined. Or is it welcome? I think it's welcome back. Your name sounds familiar. Did I miss anybody else? I hope not. Nope, I think that's everybody. I hate to miss people. Oh, that's not good.
Well, there is something you can try. I don't know if it will work. Sometimes it does, but most times it doesn't. Is unplug it. Go away for a half an hour and then come back and turn it on. See what happens. Cool. Retract landing gear.
Landing gear is already retracted. Would
Uh.
you like me to deploy?
No.
Understood.
Frameshift drive charging. 4, 3, 2, 1. Engage.
I think it's 11:30. If I remember the time differential correctly. Although I could be wrong and it might be 12:30. Ooh, 1:23. Ooh. Time zones really don't line up. Okay. When you unplugged it, did you turn the hard switch off? The whole point, sometimes what happens is the capacitors get overcharged and they need to discharge. And the only way you can really do that is by completely unplugging it and turning the switch on the power supply off. Galaxy map.
Here's the galaxy map, Commander.
Retract landing gear.
Landing gear is already
I did it again.
Would you like me to deploy?
No.
Understood.
Frameshift drive charging. 4, 3, 2, 1. Engage.
But the throttle staying on is a indicator that the capacitors were overcharged. Hello, Fresh Music Entertainment. Welcome aboard. I used EDHM UI, which is an outside tool which changes the configuration files for Elite to allow you to customize your the colors in your UI.
Fuel scooping. Fuel scooping complete.
When I get onto the station, I'll get a link for it.
Frameshift drive charging. Four, three, two, fuel scooping. Fuel scooping complete.
Maybe I should post links to all the different utilities I use in the chat. Not in the chat, in the stream description. Ugh. Yeah. Well, at least if it's not lit anymore, that says you should have drained the capacitors, and it, unless the power supply is actually dead, you should be able to replug it in and start it up again. But if that doesn't work, you're most likely looking at a blown power supply. Not guaranteed, but most likely. Open hailing frequencies.
Requesting docking permission.
Request approved. Set down on landing pad 385.
Deploy landing gear.
Landing gear deployed.
Landing gear deployed.
All right, let's get that link.
Restraints engaged. Enjoy your visit, Commander.
It does take a whole bunch of fiddling around to get the UI the way you want it, because it's not all that straightforward how things work. But you can get there. All right, that's that one. All right, I guess that's about as far as we get. Yeah. 63. Yeah, it's like 4 more runs. No problem. Glad to help. And I'll re-echo what Tacita just said. We have a small squadron, the CDCI squadron, and the link to our Discord is in the stream description. All right, that's that. Galaxy map. Galaxy map.
Here's the galaxy map, Commander.
Retract landing gear.
Landing gear retracted.
When passing through the airlock.
Frameshift drive charging.
All clear. Flight control out.
Which reminds me, I still have to update ED Copilot so it'll run again. Oopsies. Kind of miss having those additional voices in the cockpit. Well, you might be able to harvest the power supply from the old computer. See if that works.
Fuel scooping. Fuel scooping complete. Frameshift drive charging.
Which is actually the first thing I would try, because then if you have a known good power supply, you plug it into the new motherboard and it doesn't work, that means something more devastating is wrong.
Fuel scooping. Fuel scooping complete. Cannot comply.
Oops, wrong button. Hmm. That can be a problem. Those pre-built ones, a lot of times they try and make it very difficult to get into. I definitely prefer building my own.
Orbital flight engaged.
But then again, I got a micro center not far from here, so makes it relatively easy to build a new computer. Hmm. Hammer and chew. Yeah, well, that's one option. Not necessarily a good one, as the impact will tend to damage whatever other components are in the system. So, small motherboard and a malfunctioning power supply. Sounds like you might have got ripped off. Especially if the case is difficult to open. Hate to say it. I know most reputable PC manufacturers, the cases they use tend to be relatively easy to open. And they usually put a sticker over the key thing you need to do to open it. That way, if you open it, they can say, "Oh, you voided your warranty." Whatever damage is there is your responsibility. Oof. Then my guess, since it's a pre-built, is they under spec the power supply and it blew. But that's just a suspicion, not a fact. Hello, Hug. Welcome back.
Frameshift drive charging. 4, 3, 2, 1. Engage.
Well, Orion is not a brand I am familiar with, so I can't give you any information. Generally, if I'm making a full-size PC, I'll build it myself. And if I'm getting a laptop, I tend to go with the Dell Alienwares, which are ungodly expensive, but they are highly performant. Before Dell bought Alienware, I used to go with the Dell XPS, but the Alienware line is much better performance. Origin, okay. Don't know them either, but it strikes. I may have seen one somewhere, but I don't have any good information on them as a company. Adapted 100, 150, okay. Galaxy map.
Here's the galaxy map, Commander.
Retract landing gear.
Landing gear is already.
I did it again.
Would you like me to deploy?
No.
Understood.
I worked for way in my past, I worked for two different companies that built PCs. One of them built actual PCs for end users, and the other ones, the PCs we were building were just the host for a unified messaging system. And the one that made it for end users, for the most part, used very high quality parts. And the one for the voicemail system used the cheapest they could get away with. Oh, yep. So you may have melted a cap or 5 inside it, which would definitely make it so it's needs a replaced power supply. Hopefully it didn't blow the motherboard. Which reminds me, I need to get a UPS for my office here. Okay. Oh, I imagine so. I don't think you've had it that long. You may want to call Origin up and lodge a tech support call. They may fix it. Just don't tell them it's from a lightning strike. Yeah, and if it really got struck by lightning, it's very little can protect against an actual lightning bolt. Something that's got an arc capability of miles is not really a whole lot that human, a small piece of human equipment can stop. But, well, I guess it's worth a tech support call. I think I remember you saying about 6 months ago that you'd just gotten that new computer, in which case it should be under warranty. Oh, excuse me. Well, the symptom he's describing is more indicative of a blown capacitor in the power supply.
Cannot comply.
Well, one thing you can do if you think it's cooling, and you can get the case open, which if it's under warranty, I don't know is a very great idea, but opening up the case and putting a desk fan and blowing on it and seeing if it stays cool, or cool enough to stay functional. Open hailing frequencies.
Requesting docking permission.
Access granted. Prep for arrival on landing pad.
But again, if it's under warranty, just don't. Call them. It's nice when it's somebody else's problem. Deploy landing gear.
Landing gear deployed.
Landing gear deployed.
Contact. Clear to disembark. Welcome to our starport, Commander.
Five isn't going to be enough. Okay. 13. That's just not going to do it. $36 for one. No, that's not worth it. Ew. Well, and the really important question is whether it's under warranty or not. Galaxy map.
Here's the galaxy map, Commander.
Yeah,
Detach confirmed.
and I'm betting it blew the 12-volt line from the symptoms. Retract landing gear.
Landing gear.
Landing gear retracted.
Frameshift drive charging.
You are clear of the station. Flight control signing off.
Fuel scoping.
That's probably a good idea,
Fuel scoping complete.
or undoubtedly a good idea. As I could sit here and guess.
Frameshift drive charging. Fuel scoping. Fuel scoping complete.
Well, everything is possible, but certain things are more likely than others. Yeah, that would. I'm leaning towards the 12. It blew out the 12 volt line then, because your liquid cooling system will run on the 12 volts on the 12 volt line, and what you're describing. So it boots to the desktop, overheats, and shuts down. That sounds like the 12 volts is toast. But again, that's just a guess. Maybe an educated guess, guess based on the symptoms you're describing. But if you get all the way to the desktop, that means 5 volts is working. Guesses are free. But I've built enough PCs and been involved with enough PCs over my lifetime that I'm 90% sure it's just your power supply and 75% sure that it just blew out the 12 volt line. I remember one time we had a bad run of power supplies at the voicemail company, and they put the voicemail PCs in to run overnight to burn in, and the motherboard was kind of cute. When it went into overheat mode, it was play fair release, and so we came in the morning, and every one of that batch was playing Fair Release slightly out of sync with every other one. So it was quite the interesting cacophony. I don't think the motherboard's toast because he boots to desktop. If he's booting the desktop, the motherboard is just fine. It just boots to desktop, then shuts down. That sounds thermal, which means the cooling system isn't running, and since the cooling system is liquid cooling, it runs off the 12 volt. So that tells me the 12 volt line is no good. But the 5 is, because the rest of the computer runs off the 5. Ah, true enough. Maybe I should create a poll on the channel and have everybody put their guesses in of what's broken on Mr. Mad Hatter's computer. That's something worth checking. Now, if I knew how to actually do that, I might do it. I'll have to look up how to do that sort of thing. Now, here's an interesting question. Do you plug your computer directly into the wall, or does it go through a surge suppressor? Not just a plain old power strip, but an actual surge suppressor. Because unfortunately, not all power strips have surge suppressors in them.
Frameshift drive charging. 4, 3, 2, 1. Engage.
Okay. Well, it was a thought. Yeah. Although usually the ones that claim they have it have to actually have it. How good a surge suppressor in there? Well, that's questionable. Oh, Belkin? Yeah, it's got a good one in there. Always trust Belkin. If it got through Belkin, holy crap. Yeah, it's sounding like he only has about 30 seconds or so after Windows boots before it goes down. Galaxy map.
Here's the galaxy map, Commander.
Yeah, if Surge got through a Belkin, you want to be checking a lot of other stuff around the house. Belkin is known for having extremely good surge suppression, and on power outlets, it will completely dampen out any oscillation in the line during the shutdown. So it would have to be something pretty hefty to get through a Belkin. The only thing better than having a Belkin is having a APC with a Belkin plugged into it. Even so, it should have been more than enough. Unless it's already taken too many hits, which is possible. I forget how many years the Belkin manual says to replace them, but it does say they only last a certain amount of time. It's nice when the supplier is close by. Unfortunately, my supplier is in Boston, and that's over an hour from here. But so far, I have not had any problems from anything from Cambridge Micro Center. Also had great experience with their salespeople. Oh, you're at least 10 years overdue for a replacement then. It may no longer be suppressing surges. That capability may have burnt out. It does after a while. Hmm.
Tango Romeo India. Please comply with flight regulations as you approach the station, Commander.
Open hailing frequencies.
Requesting docking permission.
Request approved. Sit down on landing pad 1-5.
Speaking of which, they keep sending me emails. They want me to build a new computer because it's been long enough since I built the last one. Deploy landing gear.
Landing gear deployed.
And they're not wrong. This rig and all 3 rigs at the house are overdue. Mine, my wife's, and my daughter's.
Landing complete. Dispatching ground crew.
Fr-
To our starboard, Commander.
Fry's had a really good rep. I can't say I've personally ever used Fry's, but they had a really good rep. No, they actually, it's like 2 years before they started saying, hey, your computer's getting a little long in the tooth. You might want to think about upgrading it. Ooh. Alrighty, so everything except these 2. $42 and $16, that's about right. Alright, so I only need 1 more run over there. Well, I guess maybe we'll go a little over tonight. Well, that would be why they went out of business then. Galaxy map.
Here's the galaxy map, Commander.
Double check that. Yep. Retract landing gear.
Ship resumes.
Landing gear retracted.
Watch for oncoming traffic when passing through the airlock.
Hmm.
Charging. Four, three, two,
Hello, Mr. Thorpe. Welcome back. No, I haven't seen their stores.
fuel scooping.
I was never actually a Fry's customer.
Fuel scooping complete.
I forget who the other supplier I used for parts was.
Frameshift drive
Um,
charging.
but I stopped using them because they got bought by a Chinese company, and after they got bought by the Chinese company, the quality of what they were delivering went down, and you never knew if you were going to get what you actually ordered. So pretty much these days I only use Micro Center.
Fuel scooping. Fuel scooping complete.
Nice. That's a good distance to be, right around the corner. Mm-hmm. Can hear cows mooing. That's cool. Yeah, I'm not so sure whether they just went out of business or they got sued out of business or got shut down um, for their business practices. One way or another, they're all gone. There was a time where they were a highly reputable operation, but they went downhill.
Orbital flight engaged.
You know, I've got no idea how this would work on a Mac. I just don't have the information for you. I would ask on the Frontier forums. There might be somebody on there who knows. Okay, well, that's good information. No, still need more. Thank you, Tacita.
Frameshift drive charging. 4, 3, 2, 1. Engage.
Galaxy map. Galaxy map.
Use the galaxy map, Commander.
I don't know that I want to go to that one. Yeah, that's a good place. Galaxy map.
Here's the galaxy map, Commander.
Yep, 12314.
Fuel scooping. Fuel scooping complete.
I remember those days quite well, yes. Heck, sometimes it felt like, the stuff in the store was already out of date. Here we go loop-de-loo, here we go loop-de-lie, here we go loop-de-loo, all on a Tuesday night, executing the loop of shame. Open hailing frequencies.
Requesting docking permission.
Permission granted. Please make your way to landing pad 05.
Deploy landing gear.
Landing gear deployed.
Landing gear deployed.
You're on the deck. Deactivating docking systems. Station facilities are at your disposal.
That's still the point I buy at. All right. All right. This wasn't where I wanted to go. Whoops. Well, okay, fine. I'll do this one anyway. Well, for a flight stick, I'm using the Thrustmaster HOTAS Warthog, but that's not because it's really fit for purpose. It's because, well, I sat in a Warthog as a kid, and so it's a bit of a trip down memory lane for me. I've heard people say that this is VR, very good for VR, but it depends on the VR headset you've got. Some are apparently much better than others. I don't know because I don't use VR. And welcome back, Killer Bees. Glad to have you along. All right, proto-radiolic alloys, core dynamic composites, MP shielding, military improvised. All right, proto heat radiators is 76, so that's 24. Can I make that one go away? 89, that's 11, but that one's easy to get. So is the proto heat radiators. All right, I guess I will just leave that in that state. We'll collect what we need. Let's go to a different one. HIP 7564. Galaxy map. Galaxy map.
Here's the galaxy map, Commander.
Dual projection setup. Ooh, sounds lovely. Retract landing gear.
Landing gear retracted.
Unfortunately, for reasons of streaming, I can't use any sort of dual monitor setup because that just won't stream well. I'd love to run actually in a 3-monitor setup, left, right, and center. Maybe someday. It's also the reason I don't do VR. Because it just doesn't stream well. Every stream of somebody running VR I've seen looks a bit wonky.
Fuel scooping. Fuel scooping complete.
Stewart. We're going to go to Stewart Orbital. Yeah, I like head tracking because it doesn't mess up the stream, and I still get the ability to look about, which is really nice. Also, it gives you guys an idea of where I'm actually looking to do things. And I like the latest edition version of the Tobies. Yeah, I get that. I get sick in VR, motion sick in VR as well. And I do not get motion sick with the head tracker. Because there isn't, it's better immersion, but it isn't a complete immersion because the monitor is fixed. So you have a fixed screen and you're obviously looking through a screen. So it helps the mind keep it stabilized. So if you want something close to VR without the motion sickness from VR, a head tracker is a lovely idea. It works very well. Especially the Tobii IX. Or Tobii head tracker, whatever they're calling it's like Tobii 5 now or something like that. And no, I am not sponsored by Tobii. I just like their product. Open hailing frequencies.
Requesting docking permission.
Approval granted. Please make your way to landing pad 30.
And each version, I've been flying with the Tobii head trackers since version 3 of their head tracker, and every version has had significant improvements. The latest one is just absolutely slick and smooth. I love it. Deploy landing gear,
Landing gear deployed.
which is the 5.
Landing gear deployed.
Touchdown. Ground crew dispatched. Welcome to the station, Commander.
All right. So if I can, I want to be those four. Hold on a second. Okay, sorry about that. Looks like I've got a to-do item after I finish the stream. All right, so technetium, ruthenium. Okay, selenium, I got a tellurium and polonium. Okay. So yttrium is done, technetium and ruthenium I can get. Selenium I need to. There. All right. So I can farm technetium, I can farm so if I cut down on the number of that I have to do, so I don't have to do polonium, so that's ruthenium, tellurium, and technetium. $44.7. No, that's not going to help. All right, so that's the best I'm going to be able to do. So I need ruthenium, tellurium, and technetium, all of which are in the same system. Yep, there's a honeydew that I got to take care of right after the stream. Apparently the AC in the living room is having some problems, and it's a brand new AC, so I'm not sure what's going on. Anyway, at any rate, I've done as much as I can do tonight. So we filled up on the encoded, and we've done all the trading on that we need to do on the raw and manufactured. And tomorrow night we'll head out to the shard systems to refill the raws. But that's all I have time for this evening. So at this point, I'd like to thank everyone who came along for the ride this evening. It was great having you all along in the stream chat. We had a very active stream chat tonight, and I hope I don't miss anybody. Alrighty, so we've got Tacita, Baz, Jean-Marc, James, Mr. Mad Hatter, Nemesis, and yes, I have to manually scroll down through. Fresh Music Entertainment, Hug. Uh, Wow, very active chat tonight, guys. Thank you very much. Mr. Thorpe. And Killer Bees. I think I got everybody. I hope I got everybody. But in any case, thank you guys very much for joining me in the stream chat. I really do appreciate an active stream chat, even though it takes me a while to find everybody's name at the end. But really, guys, I do appreciate it. All right. Thank you very much for joining me this evening. We've done as much as we possibly can. It's a work night, and I have to get a decent amount of sleep. So at this point, we're going to leave things here, pick it up again tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. That's all for now. This is Trace Majestus, signing out.